My name is Jennifer Wayne, and I'm excited to welcome you to Motivating Moments. Your host, Sean, is here to help you reach your highest potential by sharing stories that inspire and fuel your inner positivity. Think of it like a power play, where each episode gives you the advantage to overcome obstacles and score personal victories. The positivity we create here is contagious, passing to your friends, family, and community. Let's keep passing that positivity and shoot for a brighter, more positive future together.
Hey, everybody, welcome to our first episode of Motivating Moments for Season 2. I'm with one of my very good friends. I've known him for over 25 years. Hey, Mark.
Hey Sean, how are you doing?
I'm great.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it's an honor and a privilege to be here on your podcast, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. And I've listened to a few episodes, and I think they're grand. And so, I look forward to talking with you here.
Did you listen to the episode where you were walking around Belgium?
No, I didn't listen to that one, but I did listen to the one with Summer Dawn, and I really enjoyed that one.
Okay, let's jump right into it then. I ask all the guests on the show, what are you thankful for? And you can be as brief or as detailed as you wish.
I think it's important to practice an attitude of gratitude. If you read a lot of self-help books or into spirituality or things to this extent, when you are thankful, that increases your well-being in several ways. And I think it's a hallmark of wellness to, be thankful. And so I'm thankful for a lot of things, and I try to find uh, gratitude in the smallest things, find joy in the little things. Thankful, of course, for my health, for the roof over my head, the food I eat, the job I have, for the people I know, family, friends, opportunities, things to this extent. What about you, Sean? What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for the dumplings you found us because it is New Year's Eve, Chinese New Year 2025. And I said we have to eat dumplings for good luck. That's the only thing. Plus, we got breakfast tacos. Plus, we got tangerines. And I'm thankful that we did not have any traffic driving here to this undisclosed location on the East Coast. Yeah, it's been really good. So we'll have fun visiting your family tomorrow. I'm thankful that you made it back safely from Brazil. And I'm also super thankful for this epic vintage Randy Johnson t-shirt I'm wearing.
That is quite epic, I must say. Very, very classy. Has a classic pose. This looks like a 1980s design, but he played, I think, in the late 80s. So, yeah, very valid.
Okay, I want to ask you about this children's book because most of the guests, we spend half the episode talking about mental health topics, and then the second half we talk about a side hustle they're doing. So what your side hustle is writing this children's book. I want you to go through what was the process in writing the book. You don't have to talk about the logistics of the publisher because you already told me that off air.
Right. So that's actually a very good question, Sean. And, writing a children's book, writing a book is actually a process that is akin to, I think, buying a house. It's one of life's processes that is not linear, from the start of, thinking about it, putting pen to paper or finger to keyboard. Um, and there's several ways to do it. The most important thing is to just do it, like Nike. You gotta put your idea to words, and then try to prospect it. Try to get picked up by a publisher. If you don't get picked up by a publisher, you can self-publish. And when you self-publish, that's going to cost you money. Um, Being picked up by a publisher, of course, is what all writers aim for. It is definitely quite the marquee when you get picked up for a publisher, and that's something that, in a way, it kind of validates your work. And I'm new into the writing world, and it's something that I've come to realize that I enjoy. Writing is an outlet for me. Writing is uh, not only an outlet in terms of creativity, but of imagination. I think imagination is so important in regards to, you know, ideas, innovation, inventiveness. So those were where my writing came from and where it's going. And also discipline to uh, write, discipline to send manuscripts. I've been rejected a lot. I have several manuscripts of several children's books topics that I'm in the process of pushing out to publishers. And I've been rejected, particularly in one book, about 40 or so, not about 40, about maybe about 30 times. And you just got to try. Like with so many things, you just got to try, and then there's marketing. There's a logistics aspect behind it. There's interactions with your publisher, and so it can be quite complicated. And it is in a way a business endeavor. So all that being said, it's a process. It's one of these processes that is it's like deciding what school you want to go to, kind of house you want to buy, where you want to live. It's a process.
So it combines your business skills and your writing creativity skills.
It does,
All in
and
one.
it does, and I'm actually pretty happy about that. I think that's pretty cool, and I think that's and I like that. I like that. I think it's important too to you know be true to yourself, play to your strengths, look for win-wins. Um, yeah,
Is that why you had to go to Belgium?
yeah. I went to Belgium recently because, well, I've been fascinated by French language and culture, so I spent quite a bit of time, or not quite a bit of time, really just about a little over a week in the francophone part of Belgium, which is the southern part of Belgium. And I was over there because I really wanted to visit some bookstores, perhaps meet some local publishers, get in touch with them, figure things out, get some contacts. And sure enough, I did that. And I have a children's book that's in French. It's a French story, and I've been trying to publish it, and it's my first one that I wrote, and I'm still in the process of trying to find a publisher. And yes, so I managed to get probably about like 12 or 15 Belgian publishers' names, and so I I've been in contact with them, sending them my manuscript, and we'll see. You gotta put yourself out there and push out your product and put your best foot forward.
Well, thank you. I can't wait to read it. You said it'll be in Portuguese and in English?
Well, the one right now that I'm actually about to that will hit Amazon in February is going to be in Portuguese, English, and Spanish. That one's called "Thank You for Letting Me Be Me." The one in French is still in the process of trying to find a publisher. So I'm there. There's a book that comes to mind. I think it was written by a man named Robert Piercing. I'm not sure if that is correct or not. It's called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. And he was rejected by 120 publishers before the 121st publisher took him in. And so it's a lot of persistence, perseverance, determination. A lot of life, I think, is that. A lot of life is persistence, perseverance.
How many motorcycles?
Zen, the book is called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Zen and the Art.
Yeah.
Found it.
Yeah, and I want to share stories, I want to talk to kids about things that are not often talked about. Now there's lots of books on rights and treating people well in different cultures. And that's great. That's really good. I think that's important. But when I was a kid, I asked a lot of questions. I asked questions that, for instance, why does, being like an 8-year old, 9-year old, 10-year old kid, I would ask my parents, like, well, why does this person do this? Or why is this person this way? And the answer to those questions, as adults, we know, we can understand. But as a kid, it kind of perplexes a kid to meet someone or see someone that they see or perceive that acts in a different way. So I'm trying to write about those situations where a child would have a question that is not, it's not a common question, but they're curiosity questions or questions that leave a child perplexed, maybe about someone or a situation or something. And through a very respectful and understanding way, I try to convey an answer. And that's kind of my writing ethos.
I like that. And that's a good lesson because there's so many questions as there are levels of energy, how different people have different energy.
Right.
Sense.
Right.
It's gonna take us to our next topic.
Right.
I'm gonna kick it off.
Let's kick it. Let's
what did
do
you
it.
say to me? You said that you noticed that I have a lot of energy and I do a lot of things throughout the day.
Right. And I admire that about you and about people. And I noticed that you're one of the friends I have that has uncanny. Uncanny is a pretty strong word. Uncanny X-Men comes to mind, but you have a lot of energy. You have a lot of pizzazz. You have a lot of chutzpah, some people say. And I think it's great. And a lot of successful people have this, Some people don't have that, and some people are on the opposite side of the spectrum where they come home from work and don't want to go anywhere or talk to anybody, or some people are afraid to leave their apartment. And you're definitely not like that, and that's very admirable. I'm also not like that. And it's always interesting to come across people that are on the opposite side of the spectrum than us. People have different energy levels. And I went to the gym the other day. I was in DC for some meetings. I went to the gym the other day, and a guy gets on the treadmill, and I get on the treadmill at this exact same time. We're different body sizes, The only things we have in common are we're arriving at the same time and getting on the treadmill at the same time. But if you think about it, our goals are very likely to be different, right? So he starts fast walking on the treadmill, and I enter a fast jog on the treadmill. And I did a fast jog, maybe a light run for about 2 miles, and he stopped his speed walk after about 10 minutes, and he did some other exercises. I'm not sure what he did. And I proceeded to do some pull-ups, something like this, and some abs. And I realized it made me think, how different people can be, and how different people's objectives are in various situations, or to obtain a certain goal. The way people go about it is very versatile and diverse, and people have different energies. People have different capacities as well. Not everybody can be with a lot of people in a loud room all the time, and there's some people that thrive on that. And it's always very interesting to me to see, to engage with people that have different energy levels, and I think it's important to understand that. And there is scientific, psychological terms for that. I'm not a psychologist, scientist, or anything like that, but I'm sure the behavioral analysts they they're able to describe that in more detail. But I think for common people and for kids, it's an interesting topic to discuss.
How did you know that I had a lot of energy? Because I rarely find myself at any point in the day feeling tired. I'm always go, go, go.
Well, you do a lot. You're very communicative. You travel a lot. You think a lot. It's your natural position. It's the way you're made, the way your brain is wired. And there's people that are opposite of you. We know people that are the opposite of you. I think I'm maybe a little bit to the right of you in the spectrum. And we know people on definitely the other side of the spectrum where they don't want to go out. They are anxious to go out of their apartment or to travel or do whatever for whatever reason. But I've noticed about you that you're also very communicative, and a lot of people are not very communicative because sometimes people struggle to respond. Maybe they're unsure how to respond or communicate. Maybe they're timid or anxious and nervous in some way about communicating. Maybe there's different styles for communication. There are different styles of communication, of course, and maybe they're unsure of the style of communication to communicate. So those are some of the facets that I've seen of you and how I see that you have a lot of energy.
I only text you every day just to let you know that I'm alive.
Good. Well, I'm glad you do, and it's good because it's good to talk with you because you're someone that communicates quite often and well, and you know, uh, President Ronald Reagan comes to mind as being a great communicator. That was his nickname, and he was an actor beforehand, so he was trained in the art of communication. And I refer to him as somewhat as a model in communication. However, not all of us were actors or spent years in movie sets or were politicians. So uh, I think the essence of communication is to try to do the best you can to understand what idea you want to put forth and to go for it and communicate.
And I would say the secret is active listening.
Yeah, 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 yeah. How do you communicate, Sean? What's your communication style? What's that like? Tell me about that.
Of course, it's usually through emails, texts, phone calls, through watching people's monologues on YouTube shorts, face to face. I've been in a lot of Teams and Zoom meetings lately, but my favorite is the face to face because I have a Google Pixel and it's very hard to text on that because it's a droid pretending to be an iPhone. I also like to let people know that I'm listening by trying to paraphrase what they've told me.
Paraphrasing is good. Um, I was going to ask. So, looks like your communication style is multifaceted, right? Through various ways and means, and that's something else to think about in today's day and age. Sometimes people appear or seem to only communicate via one or two media platforms. Sometimes they communicate through various, and sometimes people are, uh, unsure of how to communicate through various platforms. Um, have you found it challenging at all to communicate through various platforms, through various ways, means? Is there any you prefer face to face? There's a lot of apps out there now. What can you tell us about managing communication management now in 2025. A lot different from 1875 when you just had your letter. What can you
There's
tell
too
me?
many apps. I'm sending people texts on WhatsApp, on Facebook Messenger, on Instagram Messenger, which should be combined, on Google Messenger. It's all over the place. On email, like I don't even know how I manage it. I guess I'm just used to it. And then this podcast itself, it is a form of communication because I wanted to document all my friends so that I could show it to my other friends because it was so impossible to get them all in the same place at the same time, even when they live in the same city. And it's just so much easier to just record them, ask them some questions, focus it on mental health because that is a topic that affects everybody. I couldn't do, I see a lot of people, let's do a podcast on real estate. Well, that doesn't affect everybody because not everybody invests in real estate. Sometimes they just want to rent because it's less stress, it's less hassle. They don't have to do maintenance, worry about anything. And then I see people do podcasts about investing. I see people do podcasts on sports, but that doesn't apply to everybody because some people don't play sports, they don't watch sports. I was talking to my friend yesterday about going to see the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know Edmonton had a professional hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know who Connor McDavid was. I was
Oh
telling
my.
him. I had to say, Connor McDavid is our generation's Wayne Gretzky. He's the greatest player alive.
Playing for Edmonton.
Just like Gretzky did.
Right on, right on. And all those things are very valid. And as you were talking, I was thinking about energy and communication related to mental health. And that's important because people can feel overwhelmed, underwhelmed, or simply not know how to respond to all these apps and communication means, and it can cause a burnout. Do you ever get mentally tired from communicating?
No, because unlike some people, when I'm overwhelmed, I keep going.
You keep going?
I feel like some people get overwhelmed and shut down.
That's impressive. That's true. That's very true.
And I tell you what will shut me down. What will shut me down is when somebody in traffic tells me to drive faster. I'd be like, no, because when you drive faster, that increases the odds of a crash.
Traffic is one of your trigger points then.
No, crashing is.
Crashing is one of your trigger points.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The thought
I go
of crashing.
into a mental downward spiral after a car accident.
Right. As many people would, and that's very, very normal, and thank you for sharing that.
Yes, there's a specific intersection in Virginia where I've been hit by a car, twice in the car, and twice crossing the street walking.
Oh my. I'm sorry about that. That's got to be really tough. But glad you're alive and glad you're okay.
Thank you.
That's important. And we're talking about what you just said. Everybody has their different, points of I guess triggers and communication and so forth. And I know for me, I get tired after maybe some hours of communication. I can go hours, I can do it for hours and hours, but there's a time when I just need to stop, and I'm happy with that because I realize that that's my happy spot to stop, and I stop, and I know that I cannot respond to everybody. And one thing that I find, somewhat funny are people sometimes, I send messages through various means to people, and they'll come back and they'll say, "Oh, sorry for the late response," and it's okay because people respond when they can. People lead busy lives. This is in 1875 where we have, the letter. We don't. 1875 they didn't even have the telephone. It came out the next year. Yeah, you think about those things: energy, communication, mental health, and how they're tied in together. So, yeah. it's good stuff to talk about. It's important. And thank you for sharing that about car crashes. That's tantalizing.
You mentioned something about communication, and I remember you used to do the side hustle where you would practice English with people.
You mean teach English?
Yeah.
You're right. I taught
Do you
English
still do
as a
that?
second language. No, but I would in the future again. When you teach a language, delve into a language, understand a language in all its forms, it's very very interesting because language saves the culture, and you're able to see intricacies of uh, of the language in action and how it affects people's thought processes and people's thoughts. And I've seen it for English and Spanish and Portuguese, and seen it in French too, language that I'm the most familiar with. And it's very fascinating, how language is tied to culture and how things can be misinterpreted. I recently hanged out with some friends where he's American and she's from Palestine, and they talked about this, things getting lost in translation. So,
I see.
got to be cognizant. What about your experiences with languages? Because you said something in Mandarin here recently, or Cantonese.
I did.
Can you tell us
We were
about
trying
that?
to order our dumplings, and I said "Gung Hee Fa Choi" because that's Cantonese for Happy New Year. She just looked at me and gave me this weird look, like, "What are you saying? Get out of my restaurant."
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Stick to the English, sonny boy.
Yeah. It was very interesting how you picked up on all that and how you interacted with that.
They were really good dumplings.
They were good dumplings. And why are we having dumplings today, Sean?
It's Chinese New Year's Eve.
All right.
You gotta go have dinner with your family. Get ready. No sweeping for the next 4 days. Otherwise, you'll sweep away your good luck.
Tell us a little bit about this Chinese New Year. What is this about? The sweeping, and do you know what year we're entering? Is it an animal year?
Snake, right?
The snake?
Yeah, that's good
I
stuff.
think so. I'm not entirely sure.
Year of the Snake. Remind the audience that this is the first time I've actually been in the same room as my guest. So this is pretty cool. We need to do more of these.
This is pretty cool.
Look at this. How will the year of the wood snake affect you? It says the snake symbolizes complexity, mystery, initiation, and transformation. The wood snake is seductive, creative, as well as absolutely ruthless. Wow. Shifting scales, shedding skin, taking new forms. The snake reminds us that the medicine we seek is already inside of us.
All right.
That's deep for the New York Post.
That is very deep for the New York Post. That is very deep indeed.
Here's the picture.
Oh my. Almost looks like a turtle's head instead of a snake's head.
Wow.
So.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I know Dario just keeps telling us that 2025 is going to be the best year of our lives.
It can very well be.
And I keep telling him the best year of my life was 2022.
Why was it 2022, Sean?
Because that's when my friends made me realize how minor league baseball was way better than Major League Baseball in every aspect, except skill level. But then Aaron Judge proved that even major leaguers drop routine fly balls hit right at them.
Oh, Aaron Judge. So that's a good pitch for minor league baseball, which of course is it's a very relaxing experience and cheaper than MLB.
Did you know, I learned this when I was on my tour at Rickwood Field, that back in the 50s, before everyone had a television, they would just listen to minor league baseball on the radio.
Wow.
That was their summer hobby.
Wow.
Minor league baseball is the backbone of American summers.
Very cool.
Especially in North Carolina and other southern states. Not so much in the north.
The Durham Bulls come to mind.
Oh yeah. I'm ready to go. come
Durham
April.
Bulls.
Durham Bulls.
What was the name of that movie from 1986 with Kevin Costner and Susan Sarandon?
Bull Durham.
Bull
I have
Durham.
a picture with Susan Sarandon in my Durham Bulls jersey. She loved it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Crash Davis was Kevin Costner's.
Yeah, and now he's dating Jewel.
Yeah.
the things you don't even think about until you see it in print.
Crash Davis. What a name, Crash. What an appropriate name. Crash Davis.
Yeah. And then remember we went to see him in that other baseball movie where he's on the Tigers?
Oh, yeah, I remember
Gus.
that. Yeah. So going back, just want to circle back and discuss just, mental health and energy. And, I'm glad you're doing these podcasts, Sean. I think that's very good. And it's important. It's important that we talk a lot and talk openly about mental health. And I see this a lot, and I see it around my life. And I'm sure you see it too. And I think being conscious and cognizant of people's different, maybe mental stamina is what we should use. It can really help you in your daily life, So this podcast is actually pretty important, because you're talking about these challenges, and
Well, tell me this. What would you do, just for you, not for anyone else, to improve your mental stamina?
well, I
I
think
think maybe, like when you went on that vision quest into the outskirts of Brazil, into the forest.
right. I've been on. I routinely, to take care of my mental health, I'm someone that can be very, very plugged in, and then I will pull the plug on myself on purpose, and I will, you know, not go AWOL, but I will go off and do my own thing, and that helps me out quite a bit. Um, Recently, I spent a lot of time with my family, and love my family. Great people, interesting people, and really solid. But I don't live with them. I haven't spent a lot of time with them recently, so spending a lot of time with them was driving me a little bonkers. So I went to New Orleans for 9 nights. And
That's normal for your family to drive you bonkers.
And I went to New Orleans for 9 nights. And in New Orleans, it was great. I just reset, recharged batteries, and played some video games, heard some loud music, heard some peaceful music actually through jazz, like bluegrass, ate some great southern food, read, wrote, and just hanged out. And it was very, very nice, very eclectic city. But yes, and I have been to places, whether it's New Orleans or in the in small tertiary cities in Brazil or in the Brazilian countryside or somewhere, whatever it is, people work out, people go to church, people meditate, people do yoga, people go to museums and walk around, people go out.
I do love walking around museums.
Yeah, people go to, like to walk around in the crisp, cool night, when it's quiet outside or very early in the morning. So it's important really to know thyself and know who you are and how you can recharge yourself, how you can deal with the world, and how you can best heal yourself mentally. And that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with or don't understand, So that's my take on that. What about yours, Sean? What do you do for mental health?
I look at my baseball cards.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to you bringing me back into the game.
Okay.
It was probably really bad timing. If we had come back in 2019, the cards were a lot cheaper.
Yeah, cards have gone up. Cards have gone up.
I know I listened to my Jewel music. That's good.
Very good singer.
Yeah. We got a lot in common. Went to high school in Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of the same people.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
We're out of time. That was a quick 40 minutes, wasn't it?
That flew like a jumping jack flash.
It's actually been 33 minutes.
Okay, very good. Well, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, until the next episode, huh?
Thank you for having me on, Sean. Be well and all the best. And please keep doing this podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna share with all of my friends.
Okay, great.
They're all gonna want to come visit you in Brazil.
Excellent. I'll be there. Thank you. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.